So in today's video, I am going to discuss a very important subject of plagiarism and how to avoid and minimize plagiarism in your scholarly writing. So before we embark on this problem, let us look at what exactly is defined as plagiarism and what is the malfeasance which is supposed to be committed when somebody is accused of plagiarism. So basically plagiarism is very similar to stealing, and essentially what somebody is doing is he is taking a piece of writing from somebody and essentially passing it off as their own writing. And so just like in stealing, the gravity of plagiarism also depends on the gravity and the value and quantity of the thing stolen. So for example, if somebody steals a loaf of bread, that's considered a relatively minor crime. Somebody steals a bunch of jewelry, that's a major crime. And if somebody robs a bank, that's a very big crime. So similarly, if somebody copies a sentence, it's a minor crime. Somebody copies a paragraph, it would be a major crime. Somebody copies an entire portion of a chapter from a thesis or a book, then that's a very big crime. So again, plagiarism is also judged qualitatively rather than quantitatively, and most of the time if somebody is guilty of a minor plagiarism, the ramification is an admonishment or a reprimand. If somebody is guilty of a major piece of plagiarism, then there can be very severe consequences such as retraction of the paper from a journal or even the rustication of the person from the particular institution in which they work. So again, these are possible. So now let us look at what could be the source of plagiarism. So my thinking is that many people are used to rote learning in their high school years, and very often in courses we are rewarded for memorizing large tracts of information from textbooks and then reproducing these on examination papers. And the person who does this most successfully gets the highest marks and comes out as a good student in the class. So now this particular thing is okay in an examination setting which is closed book, because here the student does not have access to the particular book, and by memorizing the content he or she is displaying that they have essentially mastered the subject and moved the material from their short-term memory to their long-term memory. But when you go to graduate school or you are a senior in your UG curriculum, at that point you have access to these papers and books. So when you are writing a paper of your own, it's a crime to simply copy things from there and to write them out straight away. So you need to make some effort to write all these things in your own words, or it is considered a crime. So again, how we quantitatively look at plagiarism is that many softwares are there which determine plagiarism, and they are going to give you a percentage of similarity of a document with a past document. So essentially something like 20% or below may be considered legitimate if a large portion of this comes from references which you have cited in your paper. And very often what happens, typically a typical plagiarism software looks at these references and then it looks at references of different papers and it finds all these to be the same. So it classifies the references in the paper to be plagiarism, which of course they are not, because you are simply citing these references. So again, you need to be careful at this stage to look at this 20%. Is it being caused by the references in the paper, or is it being caused by a paragraph or a passage taken from a different paper? Now, before we go into this problem about how to detect plagiarism at a later stage in your document, let us look at a fundamental stage about how to avoid plagiarism right at the point about writing the paper or the thesis. So most of the plagiarism tends to happen in the starting section or the introduction section. And here you typically need a few sentences for motivation, and people tend to use material from somewhere else if they are not cautious. So what I would suggest is that don't copy and paste contents from different papers into the computer. Instead, what you do is you read a variety of papers. So let's say you want to write the motivation part, you read 4 or 5 papers, you jot down a few points in your notes, then you keep these papers on the side and then you write out the motivational paragraphs yourself in your own words. Then when you start writing the literature survey, you take a few papers, you look at the material there, you read that material, you write down a few points, and again you sit down, keep these papers on the side and write these out in your own words. So you keep doing that, and after some time your introduction will be done. Now this thing may of course take a lot of time, and that is one of the points about writing, is that it should take a lot of time. So it should take days if not weeks to write the introduction of a paper, at least days. Now it's a good idea to spend a lot of time here because it's better to be safe than sorry. And you will also understand that people who have written the paper in their own word have also spent a lot of time in writing those particular nice paragraphs, and they would be very perturbed if they were to find that paragraph being used by somebody else without their permission, and that person is trying to pass this paragraph as their own, and that person may have spent a day or two in trying to frame this particular paragraph in terms of the nice sentence structures and so on. Now when you go to the method section, what happens here is that you may be describing your formulation, your mathematics, your experiments, and again you can write all these things out in your own words. If you have taken some equations from some book, then you make sure that you write out all the descriptive material between the equations in your own word. And of course this is not as difficult to do as the introduction typically in most cases. Now as far as the results and discussion and conclusion sections are concerned, if you have done the paper on your own, then you would have a variety of figures and tables at this point and some diagrams. And so what you should do is you create a document with these figures, tables and diagrams, and then take this document, sit with plain paper and pen, and then write out the particular material by hand. So again, if you do that, you discuss all the figures, tables and so on, and then you go to the computer and type it. I have found that it produces a better paper than going straight away and typing it on the computer. So again, that is my view on this particular subject. Now, of course, the conclusions will naturally come out in your own words if you have done the previous part properly and you have actually done all the material for the formulation for the results and discussion section. The references are not an issue because the references are not actually your material. You are simply mentioning that these are papers which have been published before, and so if these are detected by the plagiarism software, that's not an issue. Now again, to put it in larger perspective, one of the things which will help you avoid and minimize plagiarism is to do unique work. So every time you do a work which is very unique compared to that of others, your chances of plagiarism are less because you will have less of a responsibility to quote the past research. So again, always try to keep your work as unique as possible. I would also say that don't go to computers because it's very easy to convert PDF files into doc files and so on and copy and paste text. And so it is better not to go to the computer until a fairly late stage of your documentation. So you can spend some time with pencil and paper or pen and paper and frame out the particular introduction in terms of handwritten text, and then when you go to the computer you can write this material again. So this also lets you do one more round of writing, because when you are writing from the handwritten notes to the computer, you have one more chance of improving and clarifying your language. So these are some issues about plagiarism. Now once you have completed the whole document, you can put it through certain softwares which are there to detect plagiarism. So for example, Turnitin is a very famous software in this problem. And again, what this software will do is it will look at your document, compare it with a vast repository of documents in some databases and in the internet, and then it will throw back your document at you with a certain percentage of similarity in terms of plagiarism. And it will also put in color various parts of the document which have been plagiarized or which are similar to different documents. So again, here you will find most of your reference section will be put in this particular colored category. But as far as the remaining sections of the paper are concerned, you may find some sentences here and there in that particular category. If you have been careful about the process of writing, it will be that some sentences may be there, because again there are only a finite number of ways of writing a particular sentence, and so some people may have come up with similar sentences in their own writing. Now what you can do to further reduce plagiarism is you can look at these sentences and try to rewrite these sentences in slightly different language. So you can again use your vocabulary to change words. So again, if the word like reduce is being used, you can use a different words like mitigate or diminish and something like that. Similarly, you can look at the various videos I will be making on vocabulary to try to improve your vocabulary to reduce the particular possibility of use of similar sounding words. So again, to express any concepts, there are a variety of words in the English language, and so you can find synonyms for most words to change that. The second part is you can change the structure of the sentence itself from active voice to passive voice and change some of the fundamental words which are there in the sentence. So once you do both of these things, you will find that a lot of your plagiarism in terms of a few sentences will come down, and at the end you should be only left with a few very small pieces of sentences, or shall we call it strings, which will be left. And those strings are not so problematic, because again strings are something which are not really plagiarism. They are like pieces of bread, to use my stealing concept. So again, there are so many possibilities of two strings being same in two different documents. So again, especially dangerous is if you have a large piece of a paragraph which is copied from somewhere, or a paragraph, then make sure you go back and you completely rewrite that paragraph so that you do not have any possibility of plagiarism being thrown at you. Because be sure that the paper will be run through various plagiarism softwares, and these problems will be detected and your paper will be sent back to you, and it will not be such a pleasurable experience to have that particular email coming from the journal. So again, these were some ideas I had about plagiarism and how to reduce it, and I hope you will take these in the good spirit and try to look at some of these particular concepts and improve it. And always remember that this particular issue is not necessarily to put people down or to mock people or something like that. It has a background in terms of the issue of copyright. So when people write things, it is a copyright to that document. So again, they spend a lot of time and hard work in writing these documents, and so it is not appropriate to take their material. And if you ever feel a huge need to take the material of a person, then you should take the permission of this particular publisher. And again, there are ways to get permission of the people involved in terms of copyright. If you are writing a book or you are writing a review paper and you want to use a particular diagram or use a particular figure, then you can go to that publisher and request permission. So that is something you can do. So I hope this video was useful for you, and again stay tuned to my channel for similar videos on different topics.